Good evening. I am Soul Rebel Lulu Kornspan, and for this edition of our monthly show, I conducted an interview with Gregory Pettys, a scholar of sociology and environmental studies who has been traveling the world for most of the past 12 years and has some really interesting things to say around the prophecies of 2012. I started off asking Gregory to talk about his travels and what he has concluded about the year 2012, which is fast approaching.
Over the past few years, I've spent quite a bit of time with various indigenous people around the world, from the Hopi, the Lakota, the Tibetans, to the Sequoia, and even, the Jews. And it seems like there's a pretty common understanding that they've had for, thousands of years that something monumental is going to happen in this time. And I think that, as with anything, be it ancient texts that have been handed down through time, they lose their meaning. And I think that because of that, over the generations, what we have translated from these ideas that these cultures have shared about what may happen in this time has been misinterpreted into a belief that it's the end of time and we all will die. And I definitely don't think that this is true, but I think that it doesn't take much intelligence to realize that we're at a major point of transition. You can see it in what we value. I think if you do go back and look into what we've been focused on in the past, it was things of higher importance, be it love, commitment to family, commitment to the land, commitment to community, God in whatever manifestation that may be, taking deep concern with our actions in relation to how our actions affect the generations that may not come for another 200, 400, 600 years or more. And I think we've lost touch with that. And I think that what the ancients have shared is that it seems to be a human need to explore the dark side in order to be reminded of the light, in order to move forward. And so it is my belief, and as well as seems to be the belief of many indigenous groups and other, researchers into this idea of what 2012 may be, that in the past, roughly 1,200 or so years, we've been exploring what it's like to be in the dark side of the human experience, which we can see now has manifested in a very violent and shallow world. And I think that was needed in order to realize that's not what we need. And I think that with the coming of 2012, we're kind of at the breaking point. We've explored that to the nth degree. Our forests are dying, our oceans are polluted. We've got governments that actually think it's okay to have torture. Forget about torture, that think it's okay to have war. It's a completely barbaric, insane idea that it's okay to have war, but we still think that that's okay. And if we're, as a species, going to evolve, that can't even be an option. That shouldn't even be an idea in our head if we're going to be a mature, civilized species. And I feel that we're getting to a point where we're going to explore some more of these alternatives into what it's like to be human. Because whatever we are right now, with fake breasts and video games, it's not human. It's false reality. And I think if nothing else, we're going to be reminded of what it's like to be in the real world, the natural world, the environment of the sacred and the real.
So, Gregory, what do you think will physically happen in our astronomy, in our atmosphere, or to our planet that will bring about this awakening?
I think that we'd be foolish to think that we're, somehow prone to disaster at this point. It's like if you see a snowball falling down a mountain and it's been falling for X amount of moments, it gets to a point where it's so big you cannot stop it. And I think that any rational observer will know that in any myriad of ways, be it economic, or how we've, social, environmental, there's some massive snowballs that are rolling down a big mountain. And I think that to a certain degree, there isn't much we can do about it other than stand back and let nature play its course. But that being said, by observing nature, by observing natural law, we can find, evidence time and time again of how, nature will willingly destroy itself if it's strangling itself. And the end result of doing so is new life, a new forest that's fresh, as a metaphor. And I think that we're doing this with our political structure right now. We're doing this with our economic system, etc. And I think, truly, this is a difficult topic for a society that's, for all intensive purposes, embarrassed about spiritual notion. But there's a subconscious spiritual element that I think is reemerging right now, and it is stronger, it's more eternal than our material pursuits, and I think it's reemerging, and it may very well be one of the reasons for the disaster that's coming, because we're at a point where we need a tourniquet as a metaphor. Our leg's broken, we need a tourniquet so the whole can survive. And I do think that, be it global warming, whatever, we're sucking ourselves dry, but I don't necessarily think it's a negative thing. I think it's something that we need to do so we realize what not to do and to get a clean slate again.
All right, we're going to be playing the second half of this interview in just a little bit, so keep listening for more of my interview with Gregory Pettys.